Hello, welcome to this new session entitled CKA Exam Node Upgrades. So the point of this session is basically to look through um, the nodes that we basically have on GitHub today to start understanding how we can actually perform node maintenance, how to make them unavailable, how to cordon the actual node, how to upgrade the node, how to bring them back into service. And those type of maintenance features um, and requirements would be very, very important, first of all, to the exam, and second of all, to a working environment, because you will have to actually upgrade your nodes in the Kubernetes cluster at some point. So what I've done here is I've created a new series 2.1 upgrades and ECC practice notes here, and basically I've put down here that there's various options that you can try this on, and you will probably find an option that works best for yourself. um One option may not suit another person, but you will definitely you know try and experiment, understand um, how you would set up the Kubernetes engine, how you'd set up a multi-cluster node or a single cluster node for GCP, how you'd set it up on Raspberry Pi, and all of this experience will basically help you. And then it'll just allow you to um, select and choose as you require, going through all of these notes. So, we're going to start taking these notes a little bit quicker, because what we're basically going to continue is the study for the CKA exam itself here. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to say, let's start at a node unavailable. Um, so what we're going to do is basically we're just going to make an actual node unavailable. So what I've done in here is I've already created a GKE cluster, and if you'd like to actually find out how you can actually create that Kubernetes engine cluster, you can go back to series 1 here into introduction, and you can see basically that there's a Kubernetes engine here notes in here of how I actually did stand this Kubernetes cluster up onto GCP. And it's very, very easy. And that's one of the reasons why I chose this option to practice node upgrades and node availability. So I can sort of see here that my cluster is ready, and I can also sort of see here that I've actually got 3 nodes here um, that are all ready. So they're up about 6 minutes. So everything is basically running. So if I was to sort of say now, go back to my series 2, because remember, series 1 is really about, how to configure and set up all of this environment. But if I go back to my series 2, which is where we're actually studying for the CKA exam here, and I go into the 2.1 for the upgrades, and I come down here, I can sort of see that I basically have a fake deployment. I've called it fake deployment. And I'm going to just kind of clear the screen a little bit here, and I'm going to create this fake deployment here. And the reason I want to create a fake deployment is to just make sure that I don't, interfere with anything of any value for real um, traffic. So I'm going to then apply that, and what you'll basically sort of see is that when this gets applied, you'll see that you'll have a deployment in service. And what's happened is the the traffic between the pods has been evenly distributed. So the pods themselves have come over onto multiple nodes. So let me kind of verify that just to make sure. So I can do a get pods dash o wide here. So you can basically sort of see that, I have 3 different nodes here. That's basically being used, because the default here is that in the Kubernetes cluster for Kubernetes engine, I will actually get, 3 different nodes here. So you can see they're all being basically used right now. So you've only got four pods, but you've basically got at least one pod onto each node right now. So that looks healthy. That's the way it should be working. So that basically means that a Kubernetes engine cluster, everything is working internally correctly to that so far. Now, if I go down and I look at this, how to make this, question 1, I'm going to sort of say I'm going to practice here how to make a node unavailable, right? So really I want to mark it as unavailable. I want to sort of say, okay, take a node from my cluster and make it unavailable, so that I do not um, schedule any other traffic onto that while I perform some upgrade or or do something else to that node. But I just want to practice this a little bit. So what I want to do first of all is I want to take one um, one node and I want to cordon that off. And what I want to sort of say is just put a little alias here for k equals kubectl. So what I want to do here, and I'm just creating this alias just to make sure that I don't have to type kubectl every single time. I could just use k. So I'm just going to I'm going to choose any node here, so I know that I basically have one pod onto this node right now. You can see how they relate over. So this is the actual node, and this is the pod itself name. Go into my cordon command here, and I can say I'm just going to pick this first one here. I can just pick that, and I can basically just say let's cordon that off. So let's just remove that away from um, the actual main traffic here out into its own little area. But the next thing I want to do here is I want to make sure that my node here is just this correct name here. And this is what you would be doing in your exam. So this is why it's very important to kind of practice all of these commands. But you can basically sort of say that I'm draining this node. I'm draining this node now, and basically it's evicting any pods that's basically onto that was currently on that node. So that'll kind of take a minute or two. And once that's actually happened, what I can do is I can go back into my get pods command, and you'll basically sort of see that I won't have that pod onto that drained um, node anymore. So I can go in here now and I can basically sort of say, okay, so where is my workload right now? So I know that I have pods, and I've just seen that one of these has just come up 37 seconds ago. So that basically means that there was a change to the environment, and of course that was me making that change. But I can now just sort of see that now, I don't have that node anymore. I have the actual node here that's been replaced that sort of says, I've only actually got two uncordoned nodes here for use. So I'm, only allow traffic onto the two of these nodes. So basically, when this older pod got deleted, it got replaced with a new pod a few seconds ago. One cordon node, and do not schedule any traffic onto that. So that looks good. So what I can actually do now is I can just say, well, imagine I've done my upgrade, right? I've done my upgrade onto this existing node here, and now what I want to do is I want to say, okay, I'm going to bring it back into service. So if I just go back to um, my command here, and now I sort of say uncordon. So I want to bring it back into service. So now you sort of see it's actually back into service here. And what I can do now is if I was to find all of my pods here using this command, it would show labels. And again, this is all just practice for the exam, right? So you can sort of see my pods right now, and we've sort of seen that one was created, three were created 4 minutes ago, one was created 37 seconds ago, but they have this app label here. So what I can basically do is I can just delete my pods using that app label. So I can just delete those pods. Now what's going to happen here? I've just deleted my pods, and I've sort of said, right, what I'd like you to do is actually, give me new pods again. And now you can sort of see that there's, 11 seconds, 10 seconds, 11 seconds, 10 seconds, but new pods are basically coming up. But you can also see a difference now that this uncordoned node has actually come back into play. So now you can actually sort of see that two pods have been scheduled onto this uncordoned node. So that basically means that, I took it out of service, the node, I brought it back into service, and in the meantime, I would have actually been doing maintenance on the actual node itself. But it just proves that it actually works. And that is actually how you would coordinate and uncordon an actual node.